friends, my husband has already informed me that nobody cares about what I read 6 months ago, so you don't need to tell me that in the comments. He's got you covered. I read 18 books in January, many of them for the Read Your Shelves readathon, so they were books that I already owned. I have since decided to donate or sell quite a few of these books after reading them, which is more of a reflection on me needing money than the actual books. Our first genre today is children's literature. I read 8 books. Want a Season Good and The Mostly True Secret by Susan Lurie was a really fun and fast-paced fairy tale-esque adventure. I made a full book review of that if you want to learn more. The sequel is supposed to come out on August 4th, 2020, but I don't know if the release is going to be pushed back or is still happening as planned because of the current pandemic. Either way, I gave the book 4 stars and I'm looking forward to reading the sequel. Eventually. Next, I read The Spiderwick Chronicles by Toni DeLortezi and Holly Black. This series consists of 5 books: The Field Guide, The Seeing Stone, Lucinda's Secret, The Ironwood Tree, and The Wrath of Bulgarath. I didn't particularly like any of these individual books, but I liked the series overall, and I really admired how the books flowed together. I'm giving the series 3 stars. I read more of The Enchanted Forest Chronicles by Patricia C. Reedy. I've read the first book when I was a kid and when I thought I was growing out of stories, and I saw them available at the library, so I just had to know how the series ended. The second book in the series, Searching for Dragons, is all about Kazul, the King of Dragons, going missing, and it is up to the brave, resourceful, and independent Princess Simmering to find her. Simmering is joined on her quest by King Mendenbar of the Enchanted Forest, and they learn to work together and see each other as equals as they find a way to save the people and places that they love. The third book in the series, Calling on Dragons, has Queen Simmering on another quest to stop wicked wizards from taking over the Enchanted Forest by searching far and wide to find an important magical artifact that was stolen from her kingdom. I'm giving both books 4 stars. Our second genre is comics. I read 2 of them. For starters, the very first She-Ra and the Princesses of Power graphic novel, The Legend of the Fire Princess by Gigi DG and Paulina Ganashu. It's an all-ages stories that fans of the show will find easy to love. I made a whole video review on this book and you can check it out if you want to learn more. I gave the book 4 stars. I tried to read outside of my comfort zone and picked up Hunter x Hunter Volume 1 by Yoshihiro Togashi on the recommendation of my husband. I found it to be a very fun and occasionally terrifying suspense story. I'm not exactly blowing through the series, but I am technically still reading it. I'm giving it 3 stars. Third genre, young adult fiction. I read 5 young adult fiction books. I read the last 3 Harry Potter books, and J.K. Rowling has gotten even more open about her bigoted and anti-trans views, so I think we've heard enough from her. Moving on, Where I End and You Begin was a vaguely Shakespearean body and gender swapping rom-com where fate or magic forces 2 people to switch their lives and put true love to a test. I didn't love the book, and I still think it's a ripoff that in a body swap story we only get to see one person's point of view, but I honestly thought it was okay, and I'm giving it 3 stars. Reading Miles Morales by Jason Reynolds was pretty cool. I'm definitely interested in reading more novelizations of comic book adventures after reading this book. Plus, if you want to start a conversation with a young superhero fan about institutional racism within the educational system, it is the main villain in this story. This book also features Miles quitting being a superhero only for him to return to web slinging in like a week because he doesn't know how to not step in when people are in danger. I'm giving it 4 stars. I read 1 classic book. I still want to read more classics, but I'm never sure where to start. I continued reading the Lord of the Rings series with The Two Towers by J.R.R. Tolkien. I think most people, when they think of fantasy, are drawn back to the ideas and the world presented in this series. I kind of just read this series because it felt like something I should read, since all of my nerd friends have made fun of me for not getting to this yet for like the past 10 years. I did really like it though, and I'm mad about how much I like it because I probably would have read it earlier if I hadn't felt pressured into reading it. It's fun and dramatic with a high-stakes adventure that always humanizes the people experiencing the tragedy that comes with adventure. I'm giving it 4 stars. Our last genre is nonfiction. I read 2 nonfiction books and they're both memoirs. The first, Life Will Be the Death of Me and You Too by Chelsea Handler, was interesting because I'm not actually a fan of Chelsea Handler. I just saw an interview while she was promoting the book when it was first coming out and it sounded interesting, and this incredibly personal story of someone confronting their past trauma and privilege and learning how to use it was surprisingly helpful. I think going in knowing nothing about Chelsea Handler made this a better experience for me. It did not motivate me to learn more about her, but it did help me figure out some of the problems in my life, so I'm giving it 4 stars. The last book I'm going to be talking about in this video is actually the first book I read this year and was my favorite book that I read in the month of January. Sorted: Growing Up, Coming Out, and Finding My Place by Jackson Bird. I am a fan of Jackson Bird's work. I really like his series Will It Waffle, and I started watching his videos when he was the spokesperson for the Harry Potter Alliance years ago. Jackson shared stories about growing up in Texas in the 90s and questioning his gender and sexuality in the hyper-gendered environment that is his hometown. He also shared stories about transitioning in public and what that experience is like. This is partially a memoir of discovery and transition, but it is also really educational and accessible with occasional recommendations for other books, podcasts, or movies you can check out if you want to learn more about the trans experience and trans rights. I really loved this book. I loved seeing Jackson grow up, partially because I've always looked up to him, and I loved seeing this positive fandom community that he helped build, and I am lucky enough to be a part of just grow on the page. I'm giving Sorted 5 stars. Those were all 18 books I read in January. Please tell me in the comments about something you're learning about now, and if you want to see more from me, you can subscribe, or watch another video of mine, or support me on Patreon. And hey, I love you.